Hello Scorpio, welcome to my channel. Thank you so very much for joining me for your June 2023 Tarotscope. It is my absolute pleasure to be here with you. In the description box below, you will find links to all sorts of goodies. You will also find a timestamp if you would like to jump to the start of your reading. But first, please do keep in mind that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading. Only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. We are going to be looking at for you this month what you've healed or learned over the past 6 months. Where are you, what are you moving away from this month? What are you moving closer to this month? And where could the next 6 months be taking you? We're also going to be getting a theme song or songs for you for this month as well to give us a little bit more of a layer, if you will, or to dive a little bit deeper. And of course, feel free to look at these songs, check them out, listen to them. They may hold additional messages for you. So let's dive in, Scorpio, and see what is going on for you this month. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves. What has Scorpio healed or learned over the past 6 months, please? That was fast. Thank you. What is Scorpio moving away from this month, please? June 2023. What is Scorpio moving away from? So I'm getting this message, Scorpio, that you may be removing things from your life. Thank you. I feel like it's interesting to me because for some of you, I do feel like this could be people. But I feel like you could also be like removing items, perhaps. So these could be things that you've been holding on to for a long time. Maybe they are, the remnants of past relationships or something. But I feel like you could be removing things from your life. So not only are you moving away from things, but I feel like you're likely to be removing things as well. Taking out the trash, as it were. So what are you moving closer to this month? Right there, thank you. Where could the next 6 months be taking Scorpio, please? Okay, thank you. Let's get some clarity. Tell us more, please, about what Scorpio has healed or learned over the past 6 months. Okay, thank you. Tell us more, please, about what Scorpio is moving away from. Okay. Tell us more, please, about what Scorpio is moving closer to. Tell us more, please. What is Scorpio moving closer to this month? June 2023. Good God. We're gonna have to try that again. I do feel like, for whatever reason though, I do feel like there's this energy of clarity. Okay, I feel like, we have the Justice here that stood out to me significantly. And I feel like you could be gaining more clarity, moving closer to being more clear about yourself, your purpose, your wants, right? Those sorts of things. Here it is, thank you. And tell us more, please, about where the next 6 months could be taking Scorpio. Where could the next 6 months be taking Scorpio, please? Okay, thank you. Can we please have a song or songs for Scorpio for June 2023? What song does Scorpio need? Okay, couple here, few. All right, let's dive in, Scorpio. What have you healed or learned over the past 6 months? You do have present. You live in the moment and are able to bring forth the current the current energy of love in your current circumstances. So I mean, this kind of goes without saying, I suppose, but It feels to me like over the past 6 months, you may have been realizing the importance of being present in the moment. I feel like for some of you, I'm actually seeing being like on the phone, scrolling a lot, maybe, or maybe being just off, like just being in rooms but not in rooms, if that makes sense. And I feel like over the past 6 months, you may have come to this understanding of how important it is to be present in the moment as you are in it, to not be worrying about what's coming, to not try to be off in some distant land or in the virtual reality, but being present in your actual reality. Because I feel like for some of you, there could have been situations where things were happening around you, but you like missed it, right? And this could be even um for some, I feel like this could be something to do with relationships, maybe with people who are important to you, where there were, let's say, interactions taking place or cues that maybe you could have picked up on should if you would have been present in the moment. I hope that makes sense. Because I feel like for some of you, you could have missed some of these things. And for some, this could have been with a romantic partner. For others, I feel like it's just people who are close to you. So kind of like one of those things or situations where, somebody could have said, like, I talked to you about this, or I brought this up, or I was just talking to so and so about this. You were sitting right there, right? Something like that, where it could have just completely, missed you. And so I feel this could be why this being present in the moment, or how you learned this, or how things could have unfolded to bring it to your attention to be something to work on. I also feel like for some of you, I don't know why it feels like this, but for whatever reason, I feel like some of you have this like feeling of like running out of time or something. And that could also be why this is coming to the forefront, which I feel that there's a need to say that everything unfolds as it's supposed to. You're not running out of time. You are exactly where you need to be. But I just feel like there's this value for some of you that has come forward around the time that you share with others or something along those lines. For some of you, I feel like there's been this shift from, for example, if you're somebody who likes to scroll, right? I feel like there could have been this shift where you're like, I can do that when I'm by myself, right? Type of thing. Let's see. We also have here the Ace of Cups to clarify in the reverse. And yeah, I mean, I feel like this is being very disconnected. You know what I'm saying? Not being present and experiencing the emotions or the interactions that take place. Being kind of, again, it feels disconnected for me. Yeah, it's interesting too, because I was talking about how there was that energy of maybe being in a room with others and not being there, that empty kind of feeling. And that's what I'm picking up. So I feel like people, maybe even somebody said to you, it's like you're a shell of a person. It's like you're not even here, type of thing. And that could have like woke you up. And maybe you've been trying to work on this. It's very interesting to me. Let's see what else we have to clarify for you. We have the Five of Wands. Yeah, so, it's interesting because again, it feels like being in your reality, like being in reality, in the situations that you're in moment by moment. Now, of course, everyone's definition of reality is going to look different. But I mean, just being present in the reality that you're in any given moment and not checking out. I do feel like this could have created some conflict. Again, it came up in your experience. And so this could have brought it to the forefront and encouraged you or nudged you to start putting effort towards these things. And the Five of Wands can be this card of like training, right? And that's kind of how I'm seeing it, is like it brought it forward. And I feel like this is something you've been working on. So maybe the conflict brought it forward. Like you're not here, you're empty, you're like an empty shell. It's like you've checked out of reality. And that conflict around that kind of feeling could have prompted this, how would I say, this move toward making this a priority, or doing to the best of your ability, or to the best of your ability, being more present in the moment. We also have here to clarify, yeah, wow, this is very interesting, Scorpio. You do have the Death and Rebirth card here, which is essentially your card. It's your card in the tarot, and is essentially saying, I feel, that this is a transformative time for you. And I do feel like this is about you getting back to yourself. And it's interesting because the Death and Rebirth card here is this like hooded figure, but there's like nothing there. There's not a face. Okay? It's like the like how would I say this? So it's bringing forward to me that kind of shell of a person type of energy, right? Because there's like the figure of a person, but there's not an actual person there. So I feel like this is kind of, over the past 6 months, has maybe been trying to bring you back to yourself, or maybe this is something that you've been working on and healing, not escaping reality, being again present in the moment, and going through this metamorphosis, right? Where it feels like a journey unfolding, right? Maybe you resonate with that. It feels like moving away from the past, because maybe that's why you found yourself kind of off, if you will, because perhaps there are things in the past that you hadn't dealt with, or that were creating this kind of distracted type of energy around you. And perhaps this is something that you've been working on, and maybe you've been finding that intentionally drawing yourself to the present moment has encouraged this metamorphosis, where you're leaving the past behind slowly but surely, and moving away from it into a new way of being. Which, I mean, the Ace of Cups being out here, even though it's in the reverse, says that there is that potential. There's you can flip that around. And I feel like maybe this is something that you've been working on doing, reconnecting with your heart space, with your emotions, with feeling. Let's take a look at what you are moving away from this month. You do have patience. You are able to let the universal energy of transformation move according to its own loving rhythm. Yeah, so I feel like with this card coming up, I feel like you're moving away from trying to have control over everything, or a lot of things. Moving away from wanting certain outcomes at certain moments, and potentially moving more towards allowing things to unfold as they need to, understanding that there's valuable lessons to learn through each experience, through being present in each moment, right? Even though we may want to hurry along our unfolding, our healing, our life, it's like, why would, like, really, I feel like there's some kind of thing here that says, why would we want to rush it? Right? Why would you want to rush the unfolding of your life? Rushing the unfolding of your life means dying, right? So I feel like it's interesting as well that patient energy coming through as what you're moving, what you're moving away from, because I feel like this is something I feel moving away from. How do I say this? earlier on in the reading, right, I said I got this feeling of maybe you feel like you're running out of time. And so, I feel like there's something here that's bringing you back to this patience, right? And moving you away from the need to rush things, or feeling like you're being rushed, or like you're running out of time, and really, again, allowing it to unfold as it's meant to, at its own pace and time. I'm actually hearing the words divine timing. So this is something maybe you've been seeing yourself, or maybe you've been drawn to it. I'm also hearing like growth is a process. It's not just going to happen overnight. So being very patient with yourself, I feel like, is something that is coming to the forefront as well. Moving away from feeling like you have to have it on or be on all the time. We also have here for you respect. You value everyone's unique perspective on the path to love. Which, I mean, we do have conflict here with the Five of Wands. And when it shows up in the reverse position, that Five of Wands represents respecting the differences of you and another, or respecting others' differences, or something along those lines. I'm probably saying that completely backwards. But, just respecting differences, essentially. And it feels to me like you're moving away from, again, I don't know why, but it feels like this very kind of narrow-minded way of thinking, right? It feels very much like moving away from this is how it is. I feel like over the past 6 months, there's been this expansion of your consciousness, or even just perhaps throughout the month of June, there's this expansion where it's like there are thousands of perspectives, and they're all different. There may be some similarities between them depending on the experiences, but they're all different. And I feel like this is something that you're being shown. This is something that you're being woken up to, right? So I feel like you're moving away from, it's almost like this, I want to say this as delicately as possible, but it feels almost like you're moving away from the need to preserve your own ideals as being the only ideal, or the only idea, right? It's like, it's very interesting to me, because Scorpio tends to be this very perceptive type of energy. And it's not something that I would initially kind of pick up on, but Scorpio can also be kind of unyielding. And so I feel like there's been this kind of opening up to the fact that there are, endless possibilities and endless perspectives. And just because they are there doesn't mean that you have to adhere to it. Does that make sense? So I feel like you're moving away from not being able to respect that people's perspectives being different doesn't necessarily mean they're attacking yours, or it doesn't necessarily mean that yours are untrue, or that you have to defend yours. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. To clarify, we have the King of Pentacles in the reverse. So yeah, I feel like you're moving away from this kind of, it just feels like this, almost like a possessive type of energy. The King of Pentacles in the reverse can be like greedy or indulgent, maybe excessive. And I kind of feel like it's that you're moving away from. But the interesting part about it is that Pentacles is typically like your physical type of energy. Oh, got it. Okay, sorry. It just like dropped in. So I feel like the Pentacles being that stability as well, I feel like what you're moving away from is this like rigid, kind of possessive energy on what you believe to be stable. So it's almost like if you have these certain things that you believe and certain routines and thought processes and that sort of thing, just because there are other ideas introduced doesn't mean that it has to create instability in your life. So it almost feels like that kind of controlling type of energy. I really hope this makes sense, the way that it's coming through, because it's very much like somebody introducing these different processes is going to throw off my stability, and so I feel like I need to cling to them, like that, like be unwavering is a word I'm getting. So I feel like this is what you're moving away from, right? And I feel like this could be potentially opening you up to having more patience with yourself and with others, understanding that everybody unfolds differently, perspectives are different, and it's okay for those things to exist, right? And just because they do exist doesn't mean that yours is wrong or anything, or that you have to adhere to those, right? So again, just bringing in that respect for, I just feel like it's all kind of enfolded in that way. It's very interesting to me. And I mean, here's the thing about that, Scorpio. When we are able to do this, it creates tremendous growth in our experience, right? Just allowing ourselves and others to be what they are, and being open to different perspectives truly does give us this expansive look or expansive view, perspective of the world. Now, that's not to say that you can't adapt or adopt, rather, um, you know, facets or aspects of others' perspectives as well. So that's how it feels to me. It feels like for you, there's this moving away from this rigid kind of way of thinking and being kind of almost possessive over what you believe and becoming more fluid. Okay, let's take a look at what you're moving closer to. We have individuality. Yeah, right? You leave your unique stamp of love on everything you do. So again, getting back to yourself, as I mentioned here with the death and rebirth card, I also feel like with this individuality, you're moving closer to not only your own individuality, but allowing others to have theirs as well. Understanding that their individuality does not, like, it doesn't negate yours, or it doesn't diminish your individuality. So, I mean, that's pretty powerful. Coming back to yourself and allowing others to just simply be who they are. I feel like you're going to find life flowing with much more ease if you are able to do this. I also feel I just saw a dragonfly right outside my window. So I feel like life can get tremendously more light, tremendously more joyous, should you allow yourself to do that. We also have here for you loyalty. Your reliability demonstrates your loving sense of devotion and consistency of being. So, it's very interesting with that being present in the moment and that energy that I was picking up on, because I feel like you're moving closer to, how would I say? It's not to say that I don't feel like you're not loyal. Okay? That's not what I'm saying at all. But I feel like perhaps how you express that loyalty, I feel like is shifting, right? Because here, even though you may have been like off in left field, kind of staring at the stars or something, right? Not present in the moment, even though you could have been in that energy, for you, that may not have felt like you were being disloyal or disconnected or anything. Because I don't feel like it was like an intentional cutting people out or shutting people out or not paying attention or things like this. And I feel like as you have potentially been learning this and coming to this realization and working on shifting, I feel that your definition, or rather, how do I say this? You could have opened yourself up to the fact that loyalty may mean something different for everyone, and it may look differently for other people than it looks for you. So I feel like there's been kind of this flexibility that may be coming in, and you may be moving closer to as we move through the month of June, where even if it's something as simple as having these conversations like, hey, this is what loyalty looks like to me. What does it look like to you? Right? And having these conversations with, let's say, your person, or maybe your family, or your friends, or your circle, or whatever it is. Because I feel like there's this, for some reason, this need to have an understanding so that you can not only accommodate your own definition of loyalty and communicate that with others so that they don't misinterpret you, but also to understand what others deem as loyal. Because it's like, I feel like there's, and this is not to say to extend yourself so much to the point that you're giving, dumping into others without being true to yourself. But I feel like it's just so you have an understanding of, oh, this is what loyalty looks like for you. And I love you and I care for you. And I want to be able to demonstrate that to you in a way that is very evident. So again, it's not about, because you do, right? Because you do have individuality here. So it's not about getting lost and being loyal to other people and losing yourself in that, but it's about having an understanding of that expectation and, communicating very clearly, this is what I can accommodate, this is what I'm not sure, or I can't accommodate, or something, right? It's like, I want to understand what your definition of loyalty is so that I can communicate with you if I feel like I can accommodate that. And I feel like these are conversations that a lot of people don't have, right? We oftentimes will be in a connection with someone, whether that be romantic or otherwise, and put this label on them, right? This is what I expect from you, but we don't ever communicate that, right? This is what this title, so friend, for example, this is what this title means to me, but we don't ever tell that person, this is what that means to me. And so if they fail to adhere to what we expect, then we find ourselves disappointed. But it's like, you never communicated that in the first place. So how can one reach those expectations without ever knowing? Does that make sense? So I feel like, again, this is not about you losing yourself in loyalty, but it is about maintaining your individuality while also understanding that loyalty looks different for everyone, and you can accommodate certain aspects of that, or may be able to accommodate certain aspects of that without losing yourself. And I feel like this is what you're moving closer to. Yeah, wow. So this is big, okay? This is pretty big, I feel, because you have death and rebirth here with transformation. You have the word patience, which speaks on you are able to let the universal energy of transformation move according to its own loving rhythm. And now you have actual transformation. So again, like I stated earlier in the reading, I do feel like you're going through quite a metamorphosis at this time. And I do feel like this is something that is shifting on a very deep level, I feel. I feel like some of the things that you're going through may stay with you for the rest of your life. And I don't mean that in the sense that, because I don't want it to be confused, like to have this like rigid perspective where it's like, okay, now I'm here and this is where I'm going to stay. Life is this transformative process over and over and over again. But I feel that some of the things that you take on or gain or understand at a much deeper level could shift you and remain with you for the rest of your life, continuing to open you up, continuing to allow you to have different perspectives, right? I feel like this is a big one, a big transformation for some of you. So it says you use the power of love to move through illusions and shift into awareness. And I mean, there's a lot of that happening here, right? There's been a lot of that coming through already. And I do feel that should you allow, right, over the next month, you could find yourself being ever more present in each moment, because it's that shift into awareness. And I feel like that awareness applies to you, to others, to your situation, to your experiences, because I feel like for some of you, you're allowing it to truly, how do I say this? It's like, I really don't know how to say this. It's like, actually, the way I'm seeing it's pretty funny, because it's like somebody rolling around in flour and just getting covered in it. But it's coming through as this transformative process that is completely covering every bit of you, getting into all the nooks and crannies, because I know that sounds really weird, but if you think about it, if you have ever like been antiqued, I don't know if that's something that you have any awareness of, but it's essentially like people used to do this as a joke all the time back when I was younger. You just throw flour at somebody. Now I'm not encouraging people to do this, because it's quite a pain in the ass. But essentially, you get flour in places you didn't even know were there, pretty much. So I feel like this is what's happening. This transformation is just really getting into every facet of who you are. And so I feel like it could be incredibly beautiful for some of you if you allow that to take place. I'm actually hearing if you get out of your own way. So take that as it resonates. Wow, yeah. To clarify, we have the Knight of Wands. And I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful energy, because I feel like it's very spontaneous, which for some of you I feel isn't the easiest thing to be or do. But this is that I feel like there's this energy of moving into life and seeing it as an adventure. Yeah. Um how do I say, stepping into this bit of like fearlessness when you look at life. Um, yeah, it just feels very, I want to say daring. Daring. It feels very daring. And I feel like you're just kind of allowing things, right? Because here's the thing. The Knight of Wands here can be an energy of, let's say, being impulsive, maybe a bit reckless even. And for some of you, I feel like the fear of that could have prevented you from doing certain things, or allowing certain things, or that feeling of, or rather that, yeah, the feeling of the lack of structure, like feeling lack of structure for some reason, I feel like feels very uncomfortable for some of you. And so with this Knight of Wands showing up, it's a very kind of adventurous and daring kind of energy, being very confident. And I feel that this could be something that is, this could be an energy that you find yourself moving closer to as you move through the month of June, really discovering this passion for life. Again, seeing it as an adventure. I feel like this unfolding, this transformation could ignite a flame within you, a passion within you that maybe you didn't even know was there. Maybe you didn't even know you were capable. Like I feel like it doesn't feel possible. Right? I just feel like it doesn't feel possible, because I feel like that fear of change, or that fear of, it feels like that fear of like unraveling, okay, um, has prevented you from being in that energy before, or prevented you from even witnessing it as being possible. So, wow, that's beautiful. So beautiful. So let's take a look at where you could be in the next 6 months. Where could the next 6 months? Wow. Holy crap. You have evolution. You realize that the obstacles are merely lessons on your path to love. So the next, again, like I was saying, I was picking it up heavily. The next 6 months could really look transformative for you. I do feel like this is certainly a metamorphosis for you in a very big way. Very, very big way, I feel. You could potentially be seeing, also, I'm getting butterflies. Okay. And I feel like for you, if this is true, this could be a symbol or a sign for you, letting you know that you are experiencing that transformation, right? You are on that path, or that it is available to you. Even if you feel like the caterpillar, or even if you feel like you're in the cocoon, if you feel isolated, if you feel misunderstood, you feel alone, even if that is true for you, if you're seeing those butterflies, whether they are in your physical, real reality, or if it's on an advert in your virtual reality, if people are talking about them, if you're seeing it in movies or on TV or in song or whatever it is, if it is showing up for you over the next 6 months, I feel that that could be a big, big sign for you, letting you know that you are in that transformative stage, that you are going through a metamorphosis, and that the obstacles and the things that you are experiencing, anything coming up, any triggers, any challenges, anything that is being presented is likely to benefit you. It is happening for you to be able to learn what you need to in order to evolve. It's fantastic. I'm not saying it's going to be easy by any means. I don't want there to be confusion there, but it is fantastic. And to clarify, Six of Swords in the reverse. And here's the thing, I feel like how you're going to be evolving, or the means by which you are able to evolve, is by releasing these unresolved issues. Allowing, again, that word keeps coming up, allowing the transition to take place, the transformation to take place. Because the Six of Swords in the reverse can be this energy of resisting that. So it's that mind over matter type of thing, if you will. It is convincing your mind that it is okay to let these things go, convincing your mind that it is okay to change, to metamorph. I don't even know the right word for that, but right, just convincing yourself that it's okay, that it is okay to release any baggage, that it is okay to move on from one way of being to the next, allowing those cycles to take place, right? Resolving any issues. That's how I feel like that's how you're going to move through this. Because here's the thing, swords is that how would we say, that intellectual, or the mind. It's also your awareness and your perceptions, but also truth. And I feel like this is how you're able to evolve, is to allow these things to happen, to expand on your awareness, to see things from different perspectives, allow your perspectives to change, to open yourself up to seeing things differently, allowing truth in, even if that's painful, to forgiveness, I'm hearing as well. So, I feel like the means by which you evolve over the next 6 months is by allowing change and being okay with it, convincing yourself that it is okay, which it absolutely is. If you are not growing, you're stagnant, and stagnant things are not truly living. Okay? Beautiful. So let's take a look at your theme songs for this month. We do have here first for you Gold by Excision and Elenium. Staring hard at the future. Only close my eyes to blink. This is my sanctuary. This is my place to think. I'm driving till I find what I've been looking for, but but it's inside. Do I walk on the cut grass? Do I run to the forest? Do I stand in the fire? Or do I hide from this moment? Do I let someone else take the fall? 'Cause I'm scared that I'll lose it all. Right? So it's interesting AF that this card would show up for you, because again, I mean, basically all of those lyrics, or a good portion of them, are describing exactly what we've talked about throughout your reading, right? Do you hide from the transition, right? Do you stand in the fire and allow yourself to be reborn, to rise from the ashes, right? Are you afraid to lose all the things? This is absolutely incredible. So you may want to check out that song. There may be more messages in it for you. It's actually a really good song as well. I mean, they're all really good songs, but it's one of my favorites. You also have here Harder by Silverberg featuring Daniela Mason. There's never been a fire I can't hold. In the darkness, I'm the one who always glows. Nothing keeps me from the places I will go. And in a moment, you will know. I know what I'm doing. I know I'm not losing. There ain't no confusion. I work twice as hard and hit even harder. I know what I'm doing. So with this song, I feel for you, Scorpio, there is this energy of, I feel like it's really acknowledging the work and the patience and the dedication that's required of such a transformation, which is why I feel that if you allow it, message has been coming through again and again and again, because the truth of the matter is that nothing can keep you from the places that you're meant to be going except for yourself. And so again, I feel like this is an acknowledgement of the effort, dedication, loyalty to self, devotion to self, right? The work required, again, to allow such a transformation to take place. But knowing that you are, without a doubt, certainly capable of doing so, and releasing any fears that you're not. As I'm getting fear coming up. And finally, you have I Got Time. That's so funny. I Got Time by BB Rexa. I don't hear opinions. I don't ever listen. Haters want to see me fall. Tell them keep waiting. I don't have no patience. I'm immune to fake shit. So, I mean, it's funny because you literally have like patience here and moving away from being impatient. I feel I also feel like it's interesting because it says I got time, and there's been this energy that's come up as if you're running out of time. So I feel like that's just affirming to you that you do have plenty of time, and that this is about, I feel, the unfolding of your experience and not allowing those external circumstances or opinions or judgments or what have you to sway you from your path. You are likely to get them. I just want to be honest with you. Anytime that any person embarks on this journey of unfolding, right, discovering their truth, getting to their soul's essence, finding their way back to it, and stepping outside of the societal norms, right, just following the herd, as it were. Anytime that happens, there is kind of like a retaliation, if you will, from the community, from people around you, because they don't understand, right? Like you've been one way for a certain amount of time, and all of a sudden you start changing, and it makes them very uncomfortable. So I feel like this is a message for that as well. You know, again, I did say that I felt like you could be removing people from your life, and perhaps it's those who are unwilling to allow you to unfold in the way that you need to. I'm also getting that energy of I'm immune to fake shit, removing those people who are not seeking that same truth as you. And I don't mean that their truth is the same as yours, but that those that are not seeking to be truthful with themselves in the way that you are being truthful, I feel is something that you may find yourself becoming less tolerable to. Okay, or those passing judgment on you repeatedly, or again, not giving you the space to be who you need to be and to explore life in the way that you need to, and to experience your unfolding in the way that you need to. Scorpio, what an amazing reading. This has been such a great pleasure for me to read for you. I've enjoyed every moment of this, and I really hope that something here has resonated for you. If it has, please do the YouTube things, liking, sharing, commenting below, which I love, or subscribing to the channel really does help it to grow and tells YouTube that there may be something valuable here for someone else. So I greatly appreciate you doing so. I pray that you are able to step into this massive transformation and that you are able to allow yourself to experience things as you need to, and ultimately find yourself experiencing life as the grand adventure that it is, with passion and joy and excitement and being exactly who you are through every minute. Take care of your unique, beautiful soul. Peace be with you and within you, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.